So, my name is Varflay Kamara, and my guest this morning is Mr. Bobby Woodfield. He is the chairman and CEO of the WASH Commission. Mr. Woodfield, good morning.
Good morning, Varflay, and good morning to our Kamara crew. Good morning to our wonderful listener out there across Radio Land. It's wonderful to be
Okay,
back
you
here.
can just speak that. Okay, good.
It's
Good.
wonderful to be back here, at the nation's premier broadcasting,
Yeah.
service in the Republic.
Okay, how are you? Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to Estella and all of our great staff here. Happy New Year to our people across Liberia. Happy New Year to His Excellency the President, George Manawia.
Great. How's the WASH Commission?
Wonderful, wonderful. In fact, it's one of those government entities that have been punching above a belt.
Okay.
I would say punching above a belt. In that 4 or 5 years ago, there was no such thing like WASH Commission. It never existed. Due to the lack of political will,
Okay.
an act was passed into law. Back in, or signed into law back in 2017,
Okay.
which they called the National Water Sanitation and Hygiene Commission Act of 2012. That act was crafted 2012. It took almost 10 years before it could be passed into law. And once it was passed into law, it was, basically there on the shelf gathering dust.
Okay.
The commission was not formed. It was never operationalized. It was never set up. It took President George Manawia just 8 months into his first year
Okay.
to say, well, look, you know something? Water sanitation and hygiene is crucial to national development. And until we have a lead government entity, a principal government entity or the regulator, we are now going to make any progress. So within 8 months, he appointed me to
So
establish.
in essence, you are the first chairman.
First chairman and CEO of the National Water Sanitation and Hygiene Commission. We built the commission from scratch. Inspired by His Excellency the President, we built a government entity from scratch. And today we can boast of over 100 staff, a few contractors, and part-time volunteers and what have you.
Okay.
And it's really, really progressing very well.
So, in essence, for the layman, explain for us the essence of the WASH Commission. What do you do? What is your mandate?
Wonderful. Look, the mandate of the WASH Commission is to develop, to manage, to lead, and most importantly, to regulate the water sanitation and hygiene sector of Liberia. What do I mean by regulate? As a regulator of the sector, you set standards. That is, this is how we dig wells in the country. This is how we dig public toilets, build public toilets or toilets in the home. This is how a hotel or a restaurant, should look after her clients in terms of hygienic, the safety of our clients. This is how we try to make sure that all of our people across this country have access to safe drinking water. This is how we want to ensure that we eliminate open defecation. So you set these standards. That's
Okay.
the first task. And the next thing, after setting the standard, you don't just set the standard
So
and
it
sit
is
back.
it is a policy.
It's a policy, the standards, the guidelines, the regulations, the policies, and the norms, and all of those things. So you develop it,
Okay.
and you actually engage the public, and you said these are the guidelines we're going to follow as a nation. Next to that, you monitor implementation.
Okay.
That's another, really big side of the role of
Yeah.
a regulator. So you monitor implementation of those standards that you have already set with the people, with the country. And next to that, you enforce compliance of stakeholders. So every Liberian, our visitors, they are all stakeholders. We enforce compliance to the standards that we set. We monitor implementation. I mean, we come to you, ALBC or LBS, we come here and we say, look, we want to inspect your toilets. We want to see.
So that means you have an inspectorate team.
We have an inspectorate division. I honor the compliance, Department of Compliance, and we have a director for compliance and an inspector general. There are about almost 16 to 20 staff, in that particular department, and they are very robust. Quite recently, they were all out there, in the community. The good news is we've trained our people from scratch. We brought in the Stockholm International Water Institute, supported by the, USAID, funding from the USAID. The experts came from Stockholm International Water. We got a contract, an ongoing contract with them, that they come here periodically, very regularly, to train our people. So if you see our WASH inspectors out there, know that they are some of the best trained government officials or civil servants we got in the country. Yeah.
Okay, now let's come to the policy framework which you develop.
Yeah.
In the development of those framework, what do you consider? What do you consider in the development of those framework? Because as you develop these policies, you want to make it more convenient to the society, to how those who follow the implementation of those framework will comply conveniently for you. So how do you do that?
Look, it's a very robust exercise. You don't develop policies in isolation. But one great thing, Liberia have got some great policies on the book,
Okay.
We just got to consult our laws regularly. We got to review, do a desk review, and you see that even at the Ministry of Health, there are policies that do with water, sanitation, hygiene. At the EPA, there are policies that do with water, sanitation, hygiene. At the Public Works, at the National Public Health Institute, you got to bring all of these things together as leader of the sector, review it periodically, regularly, and see how you move forward. So we're currently reviewing a lot of our policies. We've got some funding, by the way, to review some of the policies. But I want to take you back how we have progressed to this, transforming the WASH sector of Liberia, making it one of the envy of the world. We've participated in a number of global events and, really represented the nation very well. Again, inspired by the leadership of His Excellency. Everything we do at the WASH Commission is inspired by the leadership of His Excellency President George Manawia. Remember, when the President had put you in a position, you are his vision bearer for that particular sector. So the President's vision for Liberia in the WASH sector is to eliminate open defecation, first and foremost.
Okay.
We must eliminate open defecation. When we came in, open defecation, the practice of open defecation, and maybe I should break that down a little bit for our laymen out there in Nikuning. Okay? Open defecation, people don't have access to toilet.
Okay.
And the only way they do their business, they ease themselves, is to go in the bush.
Okay.
In the bushes at night, they do it in the old building behind a cotton tree, And this is very, pose a serious health risk to our population, to the safety of our population. So our water will never be safe for drinking if we continue to practice open defecation. So to make sure that we got safe drinking water, we must eliminate open defecation, really bring down the waste management, the pile of waste and all of those stuff and all this thing. So what we've done is we met the practice of open defecation, and I'm giving real numbers. You see,
Do you have percentage to?
I will give you real numbers. I will give you real numbers. I want to send a bit of a caveat out there to our listening audience. If you are so addicted to negative stories, news stories, this is not your show this morning, because I'm going to be highlighting some of the great achievement of His Excellency.
This is a
WASH
progress
sector.
report time.
Exactly, and if the president was to pick up any alarm for WASH in his State of the Nation address, in the next 2 weeks or so, on the 30th of January, I think some of the things he will be talking about is the progress we have made in breaking down the practice of open defecation in Liberia.
Okay.
When we came on board, there was no policy or national roadmap on how this nation intend to end open defecation.
Okay.
So once you don't have a plan, you have already set up yourself to fail.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of politicians talking today. Our plan is arrest, and something about sanitation is in there, and I just laugh. You don't judge people. You judge people by what they have done, not what they say they will do. You had 12 years, and you didn't even develop a roadmap on any open defecation, which is the crux of sanitation.
Okay.
If we talk about water, sanitation, hygiene, you must end open defecation.
Okay.
You had 12 years. You never develop a policy to end. You know, develop it, and then another person will follow through and pick it up from there.
Okay.
But we have to come and develop it from scratch. So
Okay.
today, for the first time in the 100 plus years of existence in this country, under the leadership of His Excellency President George Weah, Liberia have got a roadmap like any other country around the world.
So what does the roadmap say?
The roadmap tells you this is where we are at, and this is where we want to be, but in 5 years.
Okay.
And that roadmap, when we developed, Liberia was sitting somewhere around 42% in terms of the practice of open defecation across this country. 42%.
Okay.
In fact, Maserati was the open defecation.
Prior to your coming.
Yeah, prior to our coming.
Okay. What's the percentage now?
Maserati was the open defecation capital of Liberia. There was a survey here, you know, that all of our water contaminated and all the stuff. But today, after the crafting of that policy and in partnership, working productively, building purposeful relationship with our partners, our development partners, some of whom I'm going to name on this show, we've managed to bring down open defecation from 42% to around 36%.
Okay.
This is a huge improvement. You can see we are progressing.
So that means there are more toilets being built.
More toilets being built, more programs being initiated. We call it the CLTS, where that's the community-led total sanitation program. It's going in there. And not only that, but we have brought in the funding. We have attracted around $30 million from the USAID. Remember, President, we are one of the first trip to the United Nations General Assembly. I was fortunate to have gone on that trip to represent, the wash sector on as part of the delegation. In New York, a specific request was made that they want to talk to, the head of the sanitation department. And we appear on Bloomberg TV, one of the biggest TV. And from that, engagement, we were able to make a strong case to the United States government. And Liberia was redesignated for wash support.
Okay.
And that redestination have led us to attract about 30 million United States dollars. The 30 million come under the leadership of President. We are to help our government and people in open defecation in 5 counties. That grant has been awarded to an implementing partner called the PSR, Public Population Services International. PSR is already in the country, have set up, an office, and they are now employing Liberians.
What are the counties?
We are going to be, PSR is going to be operating in Maserati County, Bong County, Nimba County, Grand Bassa County, and Lofa County. These are the 5 counties that we have targeted to eliminate open defecation in these 5 counties because they got the highest rate of practice of open defecation.
The practice is high there.
It's very high in these counties. As such, if we are able, not if we are able, but there's a clear program in place, implemented, or currently being implemented by an international partner that went through a very robust vetting process in collaboration with the United States government and the government of Liberia, represented by the WASH Commission. Now we've got a partner implementing. We are very sure, following the roadmap, following the work plan, we're going to end open defecation in these 5 countries. But that's not all. We've got other partners. The UNICEF have been working in the Southeast forever. We've got the Water Aid, who have managed to build. If you just go 2 weeks ago, I was in one of the community dedicating public toilets. The last month, I was in Peace Island. Peace Island today has been transformed under the leadership of His Excellency. Peace Island, everywhere around Peace Island used to be public. You used to see like plastic hanging from the swamp. Those were plastic filled with shit.
It has reduced.
We've reduced that, and we've given Peace Island residents clean and safe drinking water. And another thing a lot of people don't realize is His Excellency, when you see a convoy passing up and down, there are a lot of things you don't see in that convoy, but are part of the convoy. His Excellency have got a rake, that is the drilling machine. That actually, when he goes to a village and he sees no water in that village, that team move in and put in hand pumps. And that has been happening across this country. A lot of people don't see, you don't see that rig, heavy machine in the president convoy, but it's there. It's there. This is to tell you how passionate this man is to ensuring that our people have access to safe drinking water, ensuring that we end open defecation in this country, ensuring that we regulate this wash sector to give us that development boost that we need. There are challenges, but you have got a very strong team, a dedicated team, a compassionate team, working with our partners, ensuring that we are attracting the necessary funding, encouraging our government through the Ministry of Finance to find reason to put more money, because our partners can't just be bringing money, you don't put in money. But the story, the general story of the transformation in the WASH sector is something really, really, resonating globally. Globally, we participated in back in May. We were in Dakar, Senegal, representing Liberia. At that forum, did you know that Liberia is one of the only countries on the face of the earth that have organized and formed what we call the WASH Legislative Caucus? Those are lawmakers from various political parties across Liberia.
Advocating for
WASH. And they organized themselves in this group and called themselves the WASH Legislative Caucus. Now, this is going to be implemented or copied by other parliamentarians across the world. In Dakar, Senegal, Liberia was used as a litmus test. Now, the United States government is saying, we want to have a WASH Legislative Caucus. Representative Vincent Willey was on that trip, and he presented to his parliamentary colleagues. And they are saying what we're seeing in Liberia. Because you know something? Water is life. I hear people trying to copy water is life, electricity is life, this is life, this is life. Water is life. Your body is made out of 70+% water. If you don't have anything to do with water since this morning, you can't even be here. You have to eat yourself, you have to drink, you have to wash, you have to cook, you have to do so many things. And to pick it up from that level as parliamentarians and say we will advocate and lobby and ensure that anything that got to do with WASH, because that's what the guys campaign on when they go in their various counties and districts and what have you. They tell the people will bring hand pump, they will bring this, they will bring that. So it makes a lot of sense that it elevates, WASH at that level. And we're pushing.
Yeah, so that's for defecation, which I think there are a lot of progress in that area. Let's come to sanitation.
Awesome.
Sanitation.
Awesome.
Talk us through that.
So you see, WASH got various dimensions. And when we talk about sanitation in WASH, the principal thing we're looking at is that, toilets.
Okay.
And then we can drill down to the other dimensions where we talk about solid waste, we talk about liquid waste, we talk about hazardous waste, chemical waste, we talk about medical waste. This is a very huge problem for our country. But what I can tell you in the waste management, we've got the MCC. The MCC, that's the Monrovia City Corporation, right? They are the biggest solid waste management service provider in the Republic. They also got some regulatory power within Monrovia where they, control. Likewise, PCC. When we started under the region, under His Excellency, you saw it was a huge challenge. There were very few trucks, front-hand loader. We've got serious issue with the landfill, and the capacity was just really, wanting. It was not there. And at the time, you saw a whole lot of, doing the July 26th, Christmas, you will see all of our Facebook politicians publishing garbage part. You don't see that a lot now. It tells you that there have been some progress. Serious progress has been made. The solid waste we are generating here in Liberia or in Monrovia, and the capacity of removing it, you got to first remove it and take it to a transit site and then take it to the landfill. We are still not there yet, but I want to give credit to the Monrovia City Corporation, the Painesville City Corporation, for the level of improvement we have seen. The tonnage that
given the logistical
constraint, given the tonnage we have seen increment, in the removal of waste. That's why you are not seeing a lot of these photos. But certainly the challenge stay there. It is a very serious area, and we are asking our partners. This is another area that we got to, concentrate on. I heard another political. Just come talking about we don't even know how to manage waste. Do you know what goes into the process of waste management? You just you want to score cheap political point about waste management. You got to give credit to what has been done. The tonnage being removed today is so huge that we are offsetting, but we still are not at the peak yet. We are still not at the peak. We're still working towards getting at the peak. Another area that you see significant improvement is the water sector. I There have been 3% more people, about 800,000 more of our people connected to safe drinking water, either by means of the LWSC supply or some of their operation they are carrying on in the standalone water chaos. I think you have seen the blue and white things going all up across, the country. We call it standalone water chaos, or through our partners. Our partners recently, the Catholic Relief Services, in partnership with the WASH Commission and LWSC. If you go to Kakata, Benstown, we were able to erect a water system there. The American came to our aid. They have built 3 municipal water projects, one in Senegule, one in Vanjama, and one in Rabasport. They have connected about 100,000 homes.
So access to water has increased significantly.
It's improving.
To some extent.
I mean, we met
So where is this challenge?
we met it at safe drinking water, or what you call basic coverage. We made it around 73%. We are now around 76 to 78%. When the new, statistic come out, which is called the JMP report, John Monitoring Report, or the GLASS report, or the WASMO report, these are different platforms that we got reporting obligation to. You will see that Liberia is making steady progress in the right direction. We are on the right trajectory. For water, we want to give our people 100% access to safe drinking water. For open defecation, we want to bring it down to 0%. So you can see that upward movement for water, and you can see the downward trend for any open defecation.
Now we will come to monitoring the implementation of these various aspects of your work. But let's come to hygiene. Are we being hygienic these days, or we're still struggling with being hygienic?
Oh, that's a great question. We did really great job. Liberia, I quick to adapt. That's, you got to give credit. When the COVID-19 hit, even back during the days of Ebola, but quite recently when the COVID-19 hit, almost 60% of our people, from 1% practicing hand washing, we were at around about 60% based on our survey. But then after that, we dropped that practice again, and it's not good enough. We've got to continue to wash our hands, whether we are in the midst of pandemic, whether we got to continue to wash our hands. It's a healthy thing to do as human beings.
So where do you come in that?
Look, we do a lot of enforcement, and again, hygiene got so many different dimensions. You got menstrual hygiene, food hygiene, environmental hygiene, and all of this stuff. So during the pandemic, we focused on hand hygiene. That is washing hands. You got to wash your hands. So we were able to craft,
So you take a position based on the prevailing situation.
But hygiene should be something that every human being should practice. We are no longer living in a stone age.
It is not seasonal.
No, it's not seasonal. You see, sometimes you think that, okay, I'm practicing good hygiene. I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I take my shower, I wash my hands regularly, I'm good. No, you are not safe by the action of those who are not practicing such that you are practicing, because you are using the same door to open the same door. If somebody got a bad flu and they don't properly, take care of themselves, that fluid can be on their hand, it will leave you on the doorknob. You who wash your hand 10 times a day will come there and get contaminated. That's why you see common flu will go around, and everybody get infected with common flu easily. And the reason that we really got to pay attention to this is it overburden our healthcare sector. You go to the healthcare system, you see everybody that's showing up for flu. It takes away valuable time. Our doctor, Dr. Kete, Dr. Brown, all of our great doctors in the country should be using, for major surgical operations. They got to be catering to diarrhea, cholera, flu, and all of these things. So if we as citizens, we just say, look, our health is in our hands. We got to change our way of doing things hygienically. We got to look at our environment and respect our environment. Don't litter around the community. You see car moving around, people stay dropping things through the car window. It really boils my blood. But slowly, that we are getting out there as the regulator, and you start to see some changes. Another sector I want us to talk about is the water producer. That's another sector that we cover. We regulate that sector. It is staggering. It's a booming business in Liberia. A sachet water, bottled water, everywhere you pass. You
I mean,
see
there are a barrage of mineral water companies now in the country.
exactly. It's a booming
How,
business.
how does that overwhelm
But
your?
it's also a murky business. I call it a murky and dodgy business. In that there are those who are doing the right thing based on our engagement, our constant interaction. But there are those who, using the lack of maybe, okay,
Are these water safe?
that's where we're coming. That's where we are coming. So we did a survey of over 164 water companies, sachet water and bottled water, and we realized that almost 120 of those water being sold on the market were not going through any kind of a test. Just package it and it's on the market. There is no storage facility and nothing. So we have to really clamp down on them and say, no, you cannot put the health of our people at risk. We want our population to know that there's a government under the leadership of His Excellency that got their back. We are not just sitting down in offices. And recently I was at Cocoa Factory. My team and myself were at Cocoa Factory doing an unannounced inspection. We can routine inspection. We can rank up anywhere, anytime to ensure you are doing the right thing by the policies. We work with you constructively and see. And we don't go there begging for anything. We just want you to be in compliance. If you are not in compliance, we will make you get into compliance. If you cannot get into compliance, we will shut you down. So we have shut down so many different dodgy, when I say dodgy or murky business, they are not in compliance, they are not testing. You go to some homes, they got the water packaging machine just in the bedroom, they put a pipe behind the house, one of the set thing just next to that well, they put the water in the
So
packet.
where should the water come from?
The water, you can get a borehole, but the water must be treated. You must have a UV ray, you must have a properly set up water, facility, tied with white tar, hygienic tar. It must be properly set up.
Do you certify?
Yeah, we satisfy. The Wash Commission is the only government agency that have the sole right to issue white sound certificate, that is the permit to operate in the sector.
Okay.
But getting that permit does not mean that your business is. We come back and we inspect. The good news is we've been testing water at the infield, but soon enough, the Wash Commission will have our own water quality testing lab, state of the art.
Okay.
We're working on that, and very soon, you're going to see that traffic. So we're going to cut down the number of people who are not testing their water. We're going to increase the number of people testing their water really, astronomically.
So let's come to implementation. I mean, as you monitor the activities, whether it's food hygiene, environmental hygiene, whether it's open defecation, whether people are actually following the guidelines of your policies of what you put together as as your policies. Do people actually comply?
Yeah.
Are they complying?
Yes, I will tell you, when we started, it was challenging, it was tough. Our people, they just want to know that you mean what you are doing. Our people don't want to be taken for rah.
Have you shut down some?
Certainly, we have shut down a lot. In fact, we had, our spotlight was on your Ghana bar, where you go, your Ghana chop bar right here. We shut it down for some time. We shut down Bravo. We shut down. And once you get back into compliance, we reopen you. But our people, the Liberian people, don't take them for granted. They want to know whether you mean what you are doing.
So that they can test your
Yeah, they
intelligence,
test it. And once they understand that you are resolved, you are determined to do the right thing, they all fall in line to do the right thing. Our first outing, there was some water company that challenged my inspectors. That you can come in here, you don't have the right, you cannot do this. I'm working with the EP, I'm working with the commerce, I'm working. Man, when I go in there, you must be ready. You can bribe me. I'm not susceptible to bribery. You can't. I mean, sometimes.
Do your inspectors fall in line?
Yeah. Look,
Do they refuse bribes?
My inspectors, I mean, the standard is set from the head.
Are they willing to report any?
This is what I'm telling
any
you.
attempt of?
If the head of the institution is susceptible to bribery, All the other inspectors will be taking bribes. But my inspectors are saying, look, we've been warned by our boss. But our chief, he's not just a boss, he's a leader, he's a motivator, he's inspired. And I get my motivation, I get my inspiration. I'm not here to talk about myself. I get all these things from the man I work for. You see, if your boss is your motivation, it's your inspiration, then you wake up every morning energized to go and do the work, to go and make sure that vision he set you up for is realized. And this is where Liberia is going. Liberia, you may imagine, last month, Liberia was among 40 some more African countries in Accra, Ghana. And each of the countries was given an opportunity to present.
Okay.
Little did we know that there was international observer marking and taking notes and you know, everything. And at the end of that conference, Liberia won the most inspiring presentation. This is something remarkable. Honor the leadership among the colleagues in Africa. It was Ghana and Liberia awarded. Ghana was awarded the most engaging presentation. Liberia was awarded the most inspiring presentation. Liberia again was represented at the very first African WSS regulator conference in Zanzibar, in the Kingdom of Tanzania. And that representation resonated with all of our colleagues across Africa. We go there to learn, but we also go there to inspire. We go there to teach. We don't just go empty-handed or empty-headed. We go there as Liberia. And Liberia can do it. We have now made our mark that today, Liberia is awarded a spot at The Hague in the upcoming All Systems Connect conference in May. Liberia has been invited to participate in the UN Water Conference. This is the second time the United Nations is having a water conference since the establishment. And Liberia is going to be there presenting. So there's a lot happening. I wouldn't be able to go through, but the Excellency, President Weah, have given us that inspiration. That, look, we are a small country, and when the President gave me my appointment, he turned around and said, Bobby, I got all confidence in you. I know you can do this. Go and perform. Our government, we don't have all the money in the world. If we had it, we would do it. One of your first tasks is to engage and build relationship with our partners. Today, we coordinate the WASH sector. We invite our partners to what we call the sector coordination meeting every month, I think the third Thursday in the month, and all of our partners are represented.
So that meeting is geared towards what?
That meeting is for the partners to come and tell us what they are doing where.
Okay.
And we are able to redistribute. We are able to say, look, there are too many of you in Nima County, for example. Okay. We want one or two to intervene in maybe Grand Crew or Maryland. Some of the challenges is the road, so most of our partners want to stay on the main corridor. Okay. And we plead with them that when you are bringing in your funding, our partners now come to government and say, we are designing a new work plan for the next 4 years for the WASH sector. What is the input of government? And we sit with them and craft it based on the PAPD and that of the Sustainable Development Goal 6.
Mr. Woofy, are you visible in the counties?
Yes, I mean, not me personally as a
person. I know. I mean, whether you have team, you have sub-offices there.
Yeah, look, before the WASH Commission, Public Works had a major role to play in WASH. In fact, there's a department in the Ministry of Public Works called the Community Services Department. They are responsible for rural water, whereas the LWSC is responsible for, urban and para-urban cities. So Public Works got what we call the WASH technicians in those counties, and we piggyback on some of them. But for the sake of regulations, and we started to roll out, an inspection. We get our team from here regularly to go into the counties and conduct inspection. Once we start to realize some revenue from fees and fines and what have you, we will build that capacity and deploy inspectors. Because, you see, inspection is very critical in the implementation and enforcement of those policies. If you have the policy on the book and you don't have anybody in the field to enforce it, it's just policy on the book. You're not going to get anywhere. You need people out there. You need boots on the ground. And this is what I tell my colleagues, my senior colleagues in government. The WASH Commission is one of Liberia's owner government entities that have got the capacity, the tenacity, and and the technical know-how to deploy people 15 to a county and really improve this sector in a very, very, Rwanda, they didn't come up overnight to be the cleanest city. I mean, Kigali in Africa, you go Abidjan, Liberia was once the cleanest country in the world. We had that record before. You come to Liberia, you're like you are in little New York. People who were born and grew up in Ikepa, but we had sanitation system, not just service, but system, everything in place. We can stay past that mark. We can still be better, but we just need to put in a little more money into the sector. When I say a little more money into the sector, it's not for the WASH Commission. I'm talking about increasing the capacity of the MCC, buy more trucks, more front-hand loader. I'm talking about those hard-to-reach areas, our people having access to safe drinking water. Our CLTS program is robust. We are cutting down, the open defecation rate. I'm talking about, regular inspections of our restaurants and our hotels. You go to the entertainment center, you know what I'm talking about. Our people know what I'm talking about. You go to an entertainment center here in this country at night, and you go to the restroom. It should be restroom, right? You go there and you eat yourself. But now it's rush room. You just rush in there and rush out because it's so filthy. It's so filthy. We need people to make sure that those places are clean so that when our population, when our people go there to be entertained, buy your plate of rice, buy your drinks, you don't walk back and go to the hospital the next day. You walk back feeling healthy. And this is what the commission is about.
Okay, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. My name is Varflay Kamara. This morning, my first guest is Mr. Bobby Whitfield. He is the chairman and CEO of the WASH Commission. Just before we take calls, Mr. Whitfield, the president addresses the nation through the legislature on the 30th of January. If the president was to mention the WASH Commission in his address, what is that compelling storyline
Wonderful.
that will be mentioned?
Wonderful. You see, that the story of WASH has changed and has changed for...
Backed by data.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to give you now. That's what I'm going to give you. So the president is going to be telling you that today Liberia sits at around 76% access to safe drinking water. When we took over, we were around 73, 72%. We sit around 76% at access to safe drinking water in the country. That is, we have added almost 800,000 more people to safe drinking water. The president is going to say we have cut down open defecation rate from 42 to 38%. That's a huge, progress. There's a lot of countries around the world where that is stagnant. No, you're not going down, you're not coming out, you're just there. But at least we are making progress. The president is going to say, under my leadership, we've attracted $30 million for any open defecation in 5 counties. We have attracted $70 million from the United States government for giving access to improve water from rural Maserado and Magibi, $70 million as we speak. The president is going to tell you a story that Liberia WASH sector is now being globally recognized. The leadership of that sector is being global. The president is going to thank our partner. We work with the UNICEF, the Water Aid, the Irish Aid, Action Against Hunger, Catholic Relief Services, USAID. All of these partners have come back to the WASH sector because they have seen real improved leadership, coordination, cooperation, synergy back into the WASH sector. So those challenges still persist, but we are gradually surmounting them, and we will mitigate those challenges.
Okay, so call us on 0800514-096, 0800514-096, or 0770581886, and be live on the Super Morning Show this morning. If you have some concerns, you can raise them with the WASH Commission boss. Let's hear from this first person. Morning.
Good morning, Varflay Kamara.
Good morning. What's the name?
Let me say good morning to your studio guest. Let me say thanks. My name is Yukwezi Estelle, and I do join you from state number 6. Thanks to Varflay Whitfield for dedicated services towards the WASH Commission. But David, I think Mr. Wavy needs to do more in terms of some areas, because when you look around some cook shops around the country, their surroundings are very, very filthy. It discourages you to even go to these places to eat. And I think the sanitation wash commission needs to do more.
Okay.
Mr. Bobby,
Yeah.
1 minute, please.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Another thing, Mr. Wavy also needs to concentrate on, even though we are applying for at least taking the depreciation rate from 42 to 38, but there are more need to be done in some places. Look at Central Morovia. The entire city is almost like filthy. I don't know what it's doing in that regard. The water and sweat is not really doing much in that environment. There are some places in Central Morovia, the people are using the water to defecate in the water, and the water running in another community.
Okay.
Thereby bringing so many hazardous discussion to people.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to address those concerns, but I think it all, concerning different institutions, including the MCC, the LWSC, and all of that. Let's hear from this person. Morning.
Good morning, Varflay.
Good morning. What's your name?
This is Host Varflay calling from Varflay Kamara.
Let's hear you, man.
Good morning, Mr. Wavy. You know, the men say doing well, but I mean, you are talking about the water factory. There are too many. I remember I was traveling on the car, and I didn't know about car, so I wanted to buy water.
Oh, sorry, we lost you, man, Baker. You can call us back. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name? Where you called from?
I'm Johnson Solution Pierre Jr., the President of the Republic of Liberia. I want to thank my studio guest very much for talking in studio this morning to know the people with the information on the media this morning. But anyway, I got a friend in Nairobi, Kenya, and I told him about the situation, about the dedication issue in Liberia, and he's willing to help. And I want him to get my number, because he said when he comes to Liberia, he wants to be somewhere, to be renowned until he can go back to his country. I tell him you can't help my government, and he's willing. And I get him proper everything in my fast. So I want to take my studio, take my number. I will be able to meet us on the GK road. We'll be able to meet that, we'll be able to come to Liberia and help the Liberian people. Thank you very much. On behalf of my government.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from this person. Morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
This is actually from NT Bell.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning to your studio guest. Of course, Mr. Wavy has explained it all. But I think the meat the Liberian people are yelling for right now is water reaching into every home, just as current going everywhere that we're all crying for. How soon are we expecting water to reach homes? Because that will be your revenue base. And water will be touching every home. I think that will help you. Way back sometime in the 70s, when someone were around, 70s before the early 80s, late 80s, water was everywhere. This year, the country had a water tower. Water was everywhere, and that will give you revenue to water and sewer everywhere through all the country. But right now, you go Keba, you go Ghana Bay, you go Pinsway, there is no water and similar of water anywhere. All you have to talking to 1,200 well, fighting for water for survival.
Okay.
I think you got to do more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We can take 2 more calls and go back to Mr. Whitfield to address these concerns. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. And I speak Simon Boy, and I speak from Weaver Community, Prince Johnson Avenue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me applaud the Honorable Director, Commissioner there, with you. But, the issue about some of these mineral water factory not being monitored is because the workforce of that commission, I think, is less. I remember a time, one of my friends went in, there's some application right there, they went to training that they were going to get more of the men to go on the field to do the monitoring aspect. So I think they need to check on that so that they can be able to track down the system, and then the sanitation issue can be worked out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We can take a call and go back to Mr. Whitfield. Uh, Call us on 08005140096. Morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Varflay.
Yeah. Morning. Where you
Yeah,
call
this
from?
is,
What's your name?
This is Ishmael Isaac James. Friends call me Melanin for Unity, and I call you from Foya, Local County, Liberia.
Let's hear you, Ishmael.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me appreciate our studio guy this morning in the studio for what he has been telling us. But let me tell you the problem in this country. We, the Liberians ourselves, are responsible for even this sanitation issue. You know, tell me something. Even when it's on the street, you see, when some people eat food, they just send the debt on the street. What we will do is just send it on the street. We ourselves supposed to know that hygiene is part of our life, but we are responsible. Other people can be trying to help us, and one person cannot do everything here by themselves. We, the citizens, supposed to agree before anything can happen here. So thank you so much. But so we will continue to talk to ourselves that cleanliness is from ourselves. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. So that does it for the call section. Mr. Whitfield, you listen to the concerns. You can just address them.
Thank you very much, Manny. I think those are very genuine concerns. I expressed not only concerns, but there were also aspirations in those
And recommendations.
Yeah, recommendations in those callers. Opinions being expressed. The first caller talked about Stanley, I think. He spoke about the need. There are a lot more restaurants, Lapabido, we call it in this country. Lapabido out there that are not in compliance to any hygiene standard. Look, I'm not just sitting in the office. Sometimes I go into the places and I indulge. I just want to experience what the people are experiencing. It's easy for me to wear my short trousers, slippers, and get on a keke and just rock up to a Lapabido, and they would treat me like the way they treat any other client. And I see when you enter in there, the dirty water is in the little top. It's so soapy and oily, and that way you just put a spoon and take it from there. You shake it and you give it to the person. Yeah, I mean TB and all of these things are transmitted through the kind of unhygienic practices. Sometimes when you're even preparing the food, you got dogs and flies, and the toilet is just sitting there. And it's tough. You go there and you say, look, we're going to shut you down. You are not in compliance. And we have shut some down. But we got to remain vigilant. And the quarter, I think the last quarter was that, Samuel, let me talk about the issue. It's the workforce. You got a workforce of 100. I think for the Wash Commission to run at a real full capacity and firing from all cylinders, you need at least half more of that number, or maybe the same size. If I send my inspectors out just to inspect Central Monrovia, it takes me almost 2-3 months to get to Sincar, because we don't want to leave any. We comb the entire, city. When we get to a place, we comb it up. We want to see everything, and the perimeters we are looking for, all the that we are checking for. There's a whole long list. There's a whole list that we look for when we get in there. So it's time consuming, and then you got a less workforce, and then you got to double up. But we are growing into that area. The good thing that Liberian can take away from the discussion, at the end of this, I want listeners to be able to demonstrate a sense of appreciation that Liberia, under the leadership of His Excellency President George Manawia, have really taken the issue of WASH, to a whole new level. Where there was no WASH commission yesterday, today there is a WASH commission. Where there was no visibility, today there's visibility. So Ma Rose, she went off the line, but Ma Rose raised a very salient point about the proliferation of water factory. You can stop anybody from opening business, but you can get them to comply.
Yep.
So you may open your business, but you must comply with the existing standard. And this is where we are heading. We have shut down water companies. We work with them. bring in our other colleagues, the NFIL, to go in there and do some teaching. We are the regulator. We set the standard, implement, and monitor. Enforce. We are not service provider. So there is a difference between the service providers, like the LWSC. They are providing services. So the brother who called, and I just wanted to know where he is, because water towers are springing up all over the place. The LWSC pipeline, there's a huge improvement. The managing director have said to us by December last year we're going to get water in Central Monrovia, even though he's a couple of weeks late. But today we got water in Central Monrovia, and I just want to add my voice to what he's been saying, that nobody take that water and use it for drinking purpose for now, until the LWSC can give you the all clear. But that is again a big leadership being demonstrated by His Excellency, attracting funding from the World Bank, expanding the raw water pipeline from Fish Market all the way to Central Monrovia. Gravity is going to pull that water back into the homes. For the first time after the Civil War, we're going to now have water in Central Monrovia. And sometimes maybe we just don't know the procedures of connection. You may have the water pipe running right in front of your house, but you just don't know the procedure on how to connect. Please engage with the LWSC. And if you are not getting any redress, come to the WASH Commission. We will get them to, address your situation. We want to connect as many homes as possible, because we have calculated the average person to a household to be around 5 or 6. If you connect, maybe 2,000 homes, multiply that by 5, and you know how many people that you have given pipe-borne water to. We want to see that across the country. So, my brother, we are in the same direction. As the commission, it is our role to lead the sector in a way that everybody gets access to safe drinking water.
Do you have, as a WASH Commission, hotline?
No, that's not being established. I'm talking to my colleague Toby from the LCT Mobile. We are squatting in his property, the LCT Mobile. The WASH Commission is located in the old Leptiaco building, now LCT Mobile.
Hotline for the people to call if
so
they see
we're
something
working on
going
that.
wrong.
We're working on that. They have given us a really good internet service, 24 hours, one of their fastest, internet service. There will now be hotline. We've got Dex phone that we're getting them to connect, and there will be a hotline there. But look, we've also got a mobile number that you can call if you want to reach the WASH Commission, 077-8464-659. You can ring that number and you will talk with a WASH Commission personnel.
Okay, Mr. Warfield, before we leave you, your parting comments.
Look, under the dynamic leadership of His Excellency President George Manawia, Liberian can rest assured that the WASH sector is no longer what it used to be 6 years ago. When we took over, the president inspired us to serve to the best of our ability to bring pride back to our country when it comes to water, sanitation, hygiene. We are attracted more new partners to help our government deliver services to our people. We have attracted more funding, more than ever before in the WASH sector. So the issue of open defecation in those 5 counties will be eliminated because the funding is already here. Implementation have started since September, and they will reach your county, they will reach your community, they will reach your, home. Just engage with them positively, point out those issues, and let us all eradicate open defecation and keep our water safe. Continue to follow those rules and guidelines in regulating. If you got a well, make sure you cover it. There's a lid on your well. And we continue to ensure that the good news in the WASH sector that this president has achieved is being told. The onus is on us as government official, heading entities, to be able to tell that story. The president will not stay for 4 or 5 hours talking from one ministry or agency to another. We realize that. So we have got to come out this time and really tell the story for the last 6 years under the leadership, where we have taken the entity from, where we are at, and where we intend, to go in the next term. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, he's Bobby Warfield, the chairman, CEO of the WASH Commission. He's been my first guest right here on the Super Morning Show. My name is Varflay Kamara. Next up is the head of LRRC on the SMS.